Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. The fall is here and the autumn has begun. It's my favorite season of the year. I really enjoy the colors, the falling leaves, as well as the pumpkin spice latte, which I enjoy in this season. But at the same time, as much as we love the fall, a lot of us dread this season because as the autumn starts, there are many who start feeling what is also known loosely as winter blues. It is actually a type of depression that we call as seasonal affective disorder or SAD, and there are so many people who suffer from it globally. It is a type of depression which occurs due to change of seasons. There are people who also feel it with the onset of the spring, but majority of the people who feel it are in the beginning of the winter or late fall. So I thought to make this video to talk about it. So if you're someone who starts feeling down with the onset of the fall or winter, this video is definitely for you. The symptoms of seasonal affective disorder are typically somewhat similar to the symptoms of the depression, that you start feeling down for most of the day, and the things and activities that you used to enjoy in the summer, for instance, now you're no longer interested in them. It can get increasingly difficult to get out of the bed, so you might oversleep, and at the same time, you might feel like withdrawing from other people. The activities that you were enjoying over the summer, you might not be enjoying them as much, and suddenly you're like, what just happened to me? There can also be feelings of hopelessness, guilt, and sometimes it can also turn into having thoughts of ending one's life or having thoughts that life is not very meaningful at all. A lot of people with seasonal affective disorder tend to sleep in the bed. They feel heavily sleepy, tired. There may be weight loss as well, or changes in the appetite that define this period. So what causes seasonal affective disorder? There are many reasons that might cause SAD, and one of them is change in the biological clock, which we also call as circadian rhythms. So the onset of the winter can also mean lesser sunlight and lesser daylight and long winters, and that can change the internal clock that we have, which can sometimes lead to SAD. There are other reasons as well. For instance, the drop in the serotonin levels, which is a neurotransmitter that regulates our mood. There could also be some changes with the melatonin levels, a chemical that helps us to sleep. So because of all these factors, one can feel more depressed during the winter onset of seasonal affective disorder. Now, there are those who are more at a risk of seasonal affective disorder, like people who already have a diagnosis of depression, let's say, or people who have bipolar disorder. It is also a risk factor for people living very far from the equator, people who live where generally winters are really long. And at the same time, I would advise all of you to have a check of vitamin D levels in this autumn or fall, because sometimes low levels of vitamin D can lead to low level of serotonin, and that can also affect the mood and make you feel sluggish and make you feel like you don't have the energy to do anything. So get those vitamin D levels checked. Now, what are the treatment options for seasonal affective disorder? Go out in the sunlight. It's really essential to go out in the day and have a sense of routine, even though you might not feel like doing it, but do it anyways, and you will start feeling better, because once you see the sunlight, it helps in regulating the mood. And at the same time, there are places which don't receive enough of the sunlight. So there is something we call as phototherapy, or there are those light boxes which are available on Amazon and many other shopping sites, which you can purchase. These are sort of the lights which somehow mimic the sunlight, and exposure to those lights for, let's say, an hour each day can be really helpful. And if you're unable to find those lights, one of the thumbs rule or a shortcut could be, those classic tungsten bulbs which produce not the white light but more of an orangish tungsten light. So if you have a light bulb like that, you can just cover it with, let's say, paper, and it will still give that soft light, which is really that orangish in color, which can help the exposure to that light. And there are also other treatment options available, let's say psychotherapy. And if you feel like you're feeling depressed and you need to talk to someone because it's winter or it's the fall, I would definitely tell you to seek psychotherapy. It can really be helpful. Or many of the people can also choose antidepressants as a form of treatment for seasonal affective disorder. So if you are someone who tends to be depressed during the winters especially, or who might have seasonal affective disorder, I highly recommend you to see a mental health professional. And at the same time, don't just brush it off because it's just winter blues. It can actually be deeper than that, and you don't want to reduce your quality of life. So it's better to see a professional, get an evaluation done. And if you are someone who suffers from seasonal affective disorder, know that there are millions of other people like you. You are not alone in this journey, and there are treatment options available, as I have mentioned earlier. So that's all from me in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.